Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to Lewis University Television Network. Today is Thursday, March 6, 2025. I'm Frankie Corso.
And I'm Brendan Najera.
Tonight, the Department of Education may be on the out as President Donald Trump signs an executive order to green lighting the dismantling of the department. In addition, the potential privatization of Amtrak and the United Postal Service, those stories and more as we begin with breaking news today out of the Oval Office. White House officials are preparing an executive order directing Education Secretary Linda McMahon to begin the process of dismantling the department, which establishes policies for administrators and coordinators, most federal assistants to education. People familiar with the matter say that President Donald Trump is preparing to sign an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education. The administration has been drafting an order to launch the process. It directs the newly confirmed Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, to take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Education Department. McMahon was sworn in on Monday, and just a few hours later, she sent a letter to her staff titled "Our Department's Final Mission," referencing the overall efforts to dismantle the department she now leads. Fully eliminating the Department of Education will require Congress to act, so Trump is pushing lawmakers on the Hill to pass legislation, while calls to abolish the Education Department or merge it with another federal agency are not new. The move has historically failed to get support from Congress. If Trump succeeds in shuttering the department, it's possible some programs and funding can be retained and shifted to other agencies.
There's no doubt where Elon Musk stands on privatization. President Donald Trump's advisor said at a conference he believes the U.S. should make private anything that could be reasonably privatized, and that includes the U.S. Postal Service and Amtrak. During a technology conference on Wednesday, the special government employee referenced the vast train systems in other countries, calling Amtrak a sad situation. Musk also said a service has to have a risk of going bankrupt in order to have good feedback loop for improvement. Musk acknowledged a lot of these changes would require acts of Congress.
The Trump administration has dropped a lawsuit that aimed to protect abortion access in medical emergency. The suit was filed by the Biden administration. Last year, the Supreme Court placed a temporary court order that allows Idaho hospitals to provide abortions when a pregnancy endangers a woman's life. However, the procedure isn't allowed when a pregnancy poses health complications that are not life-threatening. The Department of Justice dropped the lawsuit Wednesday. Idaho is one of a dozen states that bans abortions at all stages of pregnancy. St. Luke's Hospital in Idaho filed its own lawsuit over the state abortion ban earlier this year. The hospital was able to secure a temporary restraining order to preserve access to emergency abortions on Tuesday. A hearing in the lawsuit was held on Wednesday.
A near record-strong March storm reached the East Coast early this morning, delivering deadly thunderstorms and fueling fast-spreading wildfires in the central and southern U.S. Around 100 million people today were under threat of wind gusts that could top 55 miles an hour from Virginia and the Carolinas down to Texas. There has been 3 storm-related deaths reported so far, all of them in Mississippi. As of yesterday afternoon, 8 states in the central, south, and mid-Atlantic regions were reporting between 10 and 30,000 outages, and in Texas, more than 72,000 outages, down for more than 100,000 yesterday, according to PowerOutage.us. Meanwhile, in the Midwest, blizzard conditions made travel treacherous overnight, with parts of Iowa, Minnesota, and Michigan seeing near whiteout conditions with wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour until early this morning. It's part of the rural Nebraska. Tuesday, there was snowfall between 4 to 9 inches and a gust topping 70 miles an hour. Across parts of Wisconsin and northwestern Michigan, winter weather alerts are in place until Thursday, where snowfall totals over a foot and gusts to 45 miles an hour are possible.
City leaders in Huntington Beach, California are fighting back after the American Civil Liberties Union filed a lawsuit accusing the city library system of censoring books. The argument continues about whether Huntington Beach city leaders are censoring material that contains sexual content by removing it from the children's section of the library. Members of the city council invited supporters to meet Tuesday to hear how Huntington Beach plans to fight a new lawsuit filed by the ACLU. Last year, under the direction of the City Council, librarians began moving books deemed to be obscene or pornographic. We saw staff sorting through hundreds of books in the health section of the children's and teen room. Books pertaining to the human body, puberty, and toilet training were shelved in order to be relocated to the library's adult area. Aaron Spivey was one of the city's branch librarians and is a plaintiff in the lawsuit. Spivey says the new ordinance that she calls a book ban is part of the reason she left her job in Huntington Beach. The lawsuit also seeks to remove a proposed review panel that would have a final say on the books that come into the library. Up next, a terror suspect in Afghanistan arrested and brought back from the U.S. for a hearing. In addition, the spike in British citizen applications by U.S. citizens, and more after these messages.
What are you looking for?
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
A terror suspect accused of being involved with a deadly airport bombing appeared in federal court in Virginia on Wednesday. Mohammed Sharifullah allegedly helped plan the 2021 Kabul airport bombing during the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. 13 U.S. service members and at least 170 Afghan citizens were killed. Sharifullah was captured overseas and charged with providing and conspiring to provide material support for terrorism. The judge ordered him to be detained until his next hearing set for Monday.
The number of Americans applying for British citizenship reached a new record last year. A historically high volume of about 1,700 applications were submitted during the last quarter of the year. That's when President Donald Trump was reelected. In all, more than 6,100 U.S. citizens applied for UK citizenship in 2024. Fewer than 5,000 did so in 2023. The last time such an upswing was seen in 2020. During the first 6 months of that year, more than 5,800 Americans gave up their citizenship. That was nearly triple the number of previous years.
American asset management giant BlackRock has agreed to buy 2 ports at either end of the Panama Canal from Hong Kong-based firm. C.K. Hutchinson's ownership had angered President Donald Trump. Trump said several times during the lead-up to his inauguration and since taking office he intends to take back the Panama Canal from Panama. He cited Chinese ownership of some port operations as a sign China is now running it through Panama actually operates the canal. It was built by the U.S. in the early years of the 20th century and completed in 1914. For most of that century, it was operated by the U.S. before the Carter administration negotiated its handover to Panama, which went into effect in 1999. The deal announced Tuesday calls for BlackRock and a consortium of fellow investors to spend nearly $23 billion to buy the ports of Balboa and Cristobal on either end of the canal.
President Trump's 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada went into effect Tuesday. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum said she will announce retaliatory tariffs on U.S. imports into Mexico on Sunday, as well as non-tariff measures. Sheinbaum also slammed a Monday statement by the White House. On Monday, when Trump said that the tariffs would go forward as planned, he said Mexico and Canada had no room left to negotiate to avoid the levies. He added using tariffs to punish countries that he put are taking from the U.S. economy without giving enough in return. Sheinbaum said Mexico doesn't want to trade war and no one benefits from what she called the unilateral decision made by the United States.
A tense session in the Serbian National Assembly on Tuesday. According to the N1 Serbia, opposition lawmakers disrupted the session by lighting flares and throwing smoke bombs inside Parliament. The chamber was filled with red and black smoke. They were also unfurled a banner reading, "Serbia stands up so the regime falls." 2 members of Parliament were injured and a pregnant lawmaker got sick. Next, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson testified in Washington, D.C. on Chicago's status on staying a sanctuary city. Plus, the Grow Institute held their inter-annual faith forum to foster community between world, religion, and culture.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson testified in Washington, D.C. on the city's sanctuary policies. The mayor defended the Chicago policies, which limit local police cooperation with immigrant authorities. As a way to keep the community safe, Republican lawmakers questioned him, with a city chairman and others criticizing sanctuary policies as dangerous. Johnson rejected that these sanctuary laws harbor criminals, stressing the city's cooperation with law enforcement in cases of criminal warrants. The hearing turned into a partisan battle, with both Democrats and Republicans using it as a platform to advocate for their positions. However, Johnson remained calm and focused, with consultants agreeing he avoided embarrassment on national stage.
Police in Plainfield, Illinois are seeking help in the search of a missing 16-year-old Ethan Hernandez. Hernandez has been missing since Monday afternoon. He was last seen leaving his house in the 14800 block of Penn Road around 2:30 p.m. He hasn't been in contact with family since the disappearance, and his phone has been turned off. He's described as being 5'5", 155 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Hernandez was last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, black Nike joggers, and Nike gym shoes. Anyone with information on the missing teen is asked to contact the police immediately.
A 68-year-old woman has died after being struck by a car on the west side of Chicago last month. Police say the woman was crossing North Avenue near Lotus Avenue, where she was hit by a sedan going westbound on February 24th. The driver fled the scene, leaving the woman with a severe head trauma and broken legs. She was taken to the Loyola Hospital, where she later died due to her critical conditions. Police are now searching for a gray Hyundai Sonata model year 2004 to 2006 with possible front driver side damage. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward and help with the investigation.
Lewis University held the Grow Institute annual Interfaith Forum last week. The forum encourages those of different world religions to come together and, quote, break the bread through storytelling and story listening. Here is Christian Kruver reporting.
The Grow Institute at Lewis University held the annual Interfaith Forum on February 25th. This event focuses on bringing students and faculty together as a community, acknowledging and celebrating our differences, and bonding over what it means to be LaSallian.
There are so many different cultural things that happen in this university. I wasn't aware of the amount of multi-faith things that happen here. And I also noticed so many people learning about my religion, trying to understand what we do, what we practice, and also being really mindful of it. It gives me the sense of, having a community around me.
My role was being a panelist for this event, and how I think that is important is because I was able to voice out my experience in the US, in my previous university, as well as at Lewis. And I hope that the people that attended the event can share my experience to other people, so that will enable them to voice out an incident that they've encountered in their life.
Through storytelling and story listening, students at this Interfaith Forum of all different backgrounds are banding together to share the common meaning of Lewis's LaSallian heritage.
Because what is funny in one culture can be so offensive in another culture.
I'm very pleased with the number of people that are here. It's great to have so many people invest time and energy in being present to this conversation. So that's wonderful. And it's good to build community. That's what we're here to do. So that's definitely happening.
All institutions have to have some form of reporting structure in that kind of way.
I think that anytime we have an opportunity to listen to stories, personal stories and perspectives, especially from our students, it really provides the groundwork that we need to learn how to better create inclusive spaces for everyone.
Yeah, so this event was so important, I think, for everyone who came. First, just to hear one another's stories, to get to know one another a little bit more deeply, and to kind of experience that community, that relationship building, and being vulnerable with one another.
Feeling kind of similar to you guys, I think for different reasons. I've got a lot of things I'm juggling at the moment.
For LUTN, this is Christian Kluver.
Thank you, Christian. Up next, the surprising would-be cameo of Barack Obama in the hit Apple TV series Severance, and the death of Dolly Parton's husband after 60 years of marriage. All coming up after these messages.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
What are you looking for?
The second season of Apple TV's popular show, Severance, came close to having a presidential cameo. Ben Stiller, who's an executive producer and director of the show, revealed to Jimmy Kimmel that he asked former President Barack Obama to appear on the show. Stiller says the role would have been as the voice of Lumen Building. Stiller says that he didn't ask Obama in person, but rather in an email. The former president responded and said that while he was a big fan of the show, he didn't think that he had it in the schedule to do it. The role ended up going to Keanu Reeves, and Stiller says that he took it quite seriously. Millie Bobby Brown is speaking out after a series of articles criticizing her appearance. On Monday, the Stranger Things actor posted a video on Instagram where she calls out the media for bullying and tearing young women down. She addressed each journalist who had scrutinized her looks by name. Over the past week, Brown has been a subject of several articles after she debuted a blonde 90s blowout while promoting her new Netflix film, The Electric State. Brown's career in the entertainment industry began at 10 years old. Now 21, she pointed out that the focus on her looks is not only cruel, but reflects the unrealistic standards directed at young women. You Ought to Go. 7-time Grammy winner Alanis Morissette announced a Las Vegas residency this fall. The 8-date residency will take place at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace from October 15th to November 2nd. Tickets go on sale on Friday, and we just thought that you ought to know. An actress known for her role in multiple Disney productions is in the center of controversy. It's all because of a video China Anne McClain recently posted on social media that shows her touching resting turtles in Maui, Hawaii. The video was posted over the weekend and quickly went viral for the wrong reasons. The Department of Land and Natural Resources in Hawaii contacted McClain and learned that the video was taken 2 years ago. Before it was removed, thousands of people saw it and shared it, and it got nearly 500,000 views. One of them was Governor Josh Green, who commented on it saying, quote, "Aloha, China. I urge you to educate yourself on Hawaii's laws and the importance of protecting our marine life before visiting our islands." Hundreds more in the comments called for McClain to face steep fines and breaking the law. An update provided by the DLNR, McClain and her family apologized sincerely for their actions, saying they were unaware of the laws and never intended to be culturally or environmentally disrespectful. While green sea turtles are usually calm animals, they do have very strong jaws. Hawksbill turtles, which are also found in Hawaii, do bite. In either way, you should avoid getting close. Dolly Parton's husband of nearly 60 years has died. Carl Dean passed away Monday in Nashville. No cause of death was announced, but Parton wrote in a statement that words can't do justice to the love that we shared for over 60 years. The family has asked for respect and privacy at this time. Dean was 82. Coming next, the number of cases in the Texas measles outbreak growing as the CDC responds, plus the lack of cancer screenings, and more with LUTN health correspondent Sharon Shurian.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
A measles outbreak in Texas has gone up to 159 cases, and the CDC says it's now on the ground to respond. Texas officials said 22 people have been hospitalized. Most of them are from Gaines County, home to a large number of unvaccinated population. Last week, Texas announced the first death in the outbreak, an unvaccinated school-age child with no underlying health conditions. It was the first measles death in the U.S. since 2015 and the first in a child since 2003. According to projections from the American Cancer Society, more than 2 million new cancer cases are expected in the U.S. this year alone. But cancer death rates continue to decline, thanks in part to the earlier detection of cancer cases. But a new study published today finds rates of cervical cancer screenings remain low across the U.S. As cervical cancer screenings started to decline in the early 2000s, it still isn't fully clear why these specific screenings haven't bounced back like others post-pandemic. Cervical cancer screening recommendations vary based on age and health, but the United States Preventive Services Task Force says if your age is 21 to 29, get your first Pap test at 21, and every 3 years after, make sure to get tested. Wild Coast Raw is recalling cat food over possible bird flu contamination. It's recalling some 16-ounce and 24-ounce frozen, boneless, free-range chicken formula raw pet food for cats. It was sold in Oregon and Washington. The company issued a similar recall last month after 2 cats got severe cases of bird flu and died. If you've come into contact with the product, wash your hands thoroughly and sanitize all contact surfaces. Yesterday was World Hearing Day, a time to bring awareness to the fact that noise-induced hearing damage is often irreversible. And experts are sending out a warning about a little-known danger that can put people at risk for permanent hearing loss. On average, gamers ages 18 to 35 spend about 17 hours every week playing video games in the US. According to a 2024 Video Gamer Safe Listening poll, audiologist Lindsay Creed says gamers now often use earbuds, headphones, or headsets, which can put loud noises close to the ear and over time can cause significant damage. Noise-induced hearing loss is preventable. First, turn down the volume, keeping it to about 50% or less. This can reduce risk of damage. Next, take listening breaks every hour, or even a few minutes can help your ears recover. Finally, use headphones that offer protection like ones that are noise-canceling. Children and young adults are most vulnerable to this type of hearing loss and may not be able to put into words that a sound is too loud. So parents must stay aware and promote hearing care. Up next, your local weather, plus the Chicago Blackhawks stringing together back-to-back wins for the first time since mid-December. Plus, Lewis Athletics taking center stage in the GLVC, winning the Women's Indoor Track and Field Championship, and women's basketball making its way back-to-back regular season championships. All that and more after these messages.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back, Flyers, to your weather segment for this week. Our low temperatures for tonight, up north in Rockford, it is a 31 with a low, 31 low in Waukegan, and in the city, it is a low of 33. When we get down south to where Lewis is in Joliet, it's 32 degrees is our low, and way down south in Kankakee, it is 31. Same thing in Coal City, it is also 31. Out west in Ottawa, it is 33, and in the east, it is a 28-degree low in South Bend, Indiana. For today's high, up north in 41 in Rockford and 40 degrees in Waukegan. It's kind of similar all over when we get down south as well in Kankakee. It is also a 41-degree high, as well as in the city in Chicago, it is a 41-degree high as well. Where Lewis is at between Joliet and Cicero, it is a 42-degree high, so that is where we have been sitting at today. For temperature changes for today, up north, it was a large change in temperature. It was 7 degrees, and down south, it was a 6-degree temperature change. Where Lewis is at, same thing between Joliet and Cicero. It was about a 6-degree temperature change, and out east, it got to be a 2-degree, -1 degree temperature change. So we will kind of have to see how that continues to play out. And for our 7-day outlook this week, it was partly cloudy today with a high of 42. Tomorrow it's actually supposed to snow a little bit on our Friday, so hopefully we'll still be able to have some fun Friday night, but just be careful with that snow. The weekend is going to be partly cloudy, 47 on Saturday and 53 as the high on Sunday. And it looks like our week next week is going to be pretty sunny. We have a high of 60 on Monday, a high of 54 on Tuesday, and a high of 53 on Wednesday. That is all for our weather segment this week. Now we're going to go to Abby Varkalis with sports.
The Chicago Blackhawks may not be a Stanley Cup contender yet, but the pieces for future success are in place. Following the trade of Seth Jones, Chicago cleared cap space and added valuable assets, putting themselves in a position for a strong rebuild. Much of the team's core is young, with 19-year-old Connor Bedard leading the charge. Bedard's potential is undeniable, and he continues to level up his game. As the salary cap rises, the Blackhawks will have room to add key free agents to complement their youth. Defensively, Artem Levshon is showing promise as a future star, while the 2025 draft could bring even more top-tier talent. Goaltender Spencer Knight also has the potential to become a #1 option in the coming years. With the possibility of new talent in the draft and a cleared salary cap, the Blackhawks are well positioned to make a playoff run in the near future. Their championship window may not be open yet, but it's soon to come. In Arlington Heights, the Village Board voted Monday night to move ahead with its plan to bring the Chicago Bears to the former Arlington Park racetrack site. The officials will continue work with an engineering firm to evaluate the site's viability. Meanwhile, the Bears are still conducting their own traffic and economic impact studies. While the team has been pushing for a new lakefront stadium in Chicago, they've kept the Arlington Heights option open since purchasing the property in 2023. Palatine Mayor Jim Schwantz, a former Bears player, said his town is closely monitoring the potential impact on the area. With tax issues resolved, supporters hope to see construction soon. However, Bears president Kevin Warren reaffirmed the team's desire for a downtown Chicago stadium as financing challenges continue. With mounting criticism of the offensive line, the Chicago Bears are taking steps to improve quarterback protection. The team has traded a 2026 draft pick to the Kansas City Chiefs in exchange for All-Pro guard Joe Thuney. Thunny, 32, has earned All-Pro honors each of the last 2 seasons and has been selected for the Pro Bowl for the past 3 years. The trade follows the Bears' acquisition of offensive lineman Jonah Jackson from the Los Angeles Chargers just a day earlier. The Lewis University women's track and field team claimed its 6th consecutive GLVC indoor championship, scoring 192.50 points to secure its 12th title overall. Head coach Dana Schwarting praised the team's effort, calling it a true team victory. Junior Dennis Hernandez was named GLVC Field Athlete of the Year, while Schwarting earned Coach of the Year honors. The Flyers dominated with multiple individual titles, including wins in the triple jump, high jump, pole vault, and 300-meter run. Lewis now awaits selections for the NCAA Indoor Championships, set for March 13th through the 15th in Pittsburgh, Kansas. The final minutes of the first quarter went back and forth between the Hawks and the Flyers. Cree Nunnally would throw up a layup to give Lewis a short lead, followed by a good jumper from Galuza, a free throw by Tara Galuza, and a layup by Cesarini made it a 16-16 game at the end of the first. Out of the break, the Flyers went on a run throughout the second quarter. A 3 from Bueno and a layup by Badali put the Flyers up by 6. Another drought of scoring for both teams was broken up by more Lewis scoring, and the Flyers would take the lead into the locker room at the half. Coming out of halftime, the Flyers started off strong, but would hit a wall as the Flyers would be outscored 23-14. The first points for the Flyers came from a layup by McNamee, but at the end of the quarter, it was a 47-44 Lewis. The Hawks struck first in the fourth from the Brad line, but Galuza got back to work with a layup and the extra point. Galuza would come up with a steal and a layup on the first break for the Raising Cane's play of the game, which gave the Flyers an 8-point cushion. As the game got tighter, the Flyers held the lead and the ball and were put on the free throw line. Nunnally, Hoover, Badali, and Galuza would all hit shots to give Lewis the 66-62 win and their second GLVC regular season championship in as many years. We'll be right back after these messages.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
That's it for today's news. Thank you for watching, and as a reminder, you can always keep up with Lewis University Television Network on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and by visiting our YouTube channel. I'm Brandon Najera. Have a great night.